tell me or share with me and share with everybody else, like when somebody's working with your team, what are some things that we can do from our side to help you guys succeed on your side, which is obviously make contact with these sellers, and then what should we do on our side when we get a lead? Like what would be like the top three, top five things that you would recommend?
So whenever jumping on the phone, the transition, your first couple seconds are so crucial when you're on the phone with them. And I say that because I've been there. I call a follow-up lead, and I'm sure everyone watching this right now has done it once or twice. They read the notes wrong.
Mm.
Okay. I had to talk to your wife. There's no wife. Boom. Hang up the phone. Just lost them. And it's because that does happen. You
Yeah.
make the follow-up, you fumble the words, and so I would say, the first best thing you can do is assess the situation. Okay. Read over the notes. One thing we're going to start doing at lead mining over the next month is we're actually going to do leads based on the seller's tone. Okay. Someone recommended that to me. I love that. Aggressive tone, soft tone, medium tone, kind of stuff like that. That way, we know how they spoke, how the call went. And that way you know how to go in and mirror them.
Okay.
Right?
Nice.
It's kind of the vision. So, try to get a vision of their tone, try to understand their situation, read in between the lines in the notes, and read the notes really carefully.
Mm-hmm.
I would get that squared away first. Once you've absorbed all the information, don't just try to wing it. Get their name down, get their information down. And when you first get them on the phone, I wouldn't, I probably wouldn't address them by name unless it's confirmed in the notes that that's who we spoke with. Okay. The lead name can often be different than the other name. So unless we confirm who it is in the notes, go, hey, yeah, I'm actually looking for the owner of the property in your case, it's notes. I'm looking for the owner of the note of this property. Yeah, hey, you spoke to my partner the other day. Is
Mm-hmm.
this Michael? You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Kind of break through the barrier with something they can agree to first.
Okay.
A name is not something you want to get wrong, not if you don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
So go in. I believe we spoke about this house. Great. You spoke to my partner. This is Michael. Is that correct? I would just try that to help increase that beginning conversion rate. Once that happens, it's your turn to this is it. Like, this is like, consider you're actually at a networking event instead of trying to buy their note. Okay.
Okay.
Now, on that first touch, you
Mm-hmm.
are like warm and fuzzy. You are like, man, hey, what's up? I'm Troy, and and I'm here to help. I know you spoke to my partner. I just wanted to call and meet you for myself. Looks like you guys had a pretty good conversation, and
Yeah.
I think I might have a couple of additional questions, but I was just calling to, maybe get to know you. Maybe humanize the situation a
Mm-hmm.
little bit.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree that feeling like a number doesn't work for any of us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like, I tell you, I used to run a Dunkin' Donuts when I was
Mm-hmm.
24.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And then I went to like Wendy's like 3 times a week. Don't judge me at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember at Wendy's, they never knew my name. They just opened the door and stuck the bag of food into my car. And it frustrated me. And it was the same girl. I've seen her 100 times, you know? And I remember I went back to my team and I said, we will never do that. We will, if you see someone more than 3 times, ask them their name,
Yeah.
let's go above. And that, I literally stopped going to Wendy's after I did that.
Wow.
And so, create the human aspect, I would
Mm-hmm.
say, would be the next step. Um,
Yeah.
so, to slightly recap would be interpret the information, make sure you get it, focus on the intro, okay, get them to agree, right? Yes, I did speak to somebody, or, you know what I mean? Get them to confirm that you're not crazy, and
Mm-hmm.
then focus right on the relationship as your
Yeah.
next step.
Yeah.
Love all, like I said, networking meeting. How are you doing? So tell me a little bit about yourself. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and keep in mind, this is a note buyer, so this isn't like a distressed homeowner who hasn't paid their mortgage or anything. And it might even be easier because you're almost on the same playing field. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
as them. Hey, look, I'm getting into this and I got a couple of these notes and, feel free just to talk to them, find out their story, build the rapport. And
Mm-hmm.
then once you've built that rapport, you've successfully transferred the call. Now it's your lead. Before it's kind of our lead, right? Technically,
Mm-hmm. Sure.
because you've got to sink your teeth into it. So now it's your lead. So then
Yeah.
now's your chance. I was telling Troy earlier, I made the joke sometimes people be like, oh, Nick, you missed a couple questions. Oh, great. Now you got something to talk about, you know? And so, hey, and even if you ask them again, maybe you want a different answer. Maybe you want to go after the motivation again. Hey, I see here something about, and recall the call, make them know that you have synergies in between the company,
Mm-hmm.
right? Think
Yeah.
about when you call AT&T and
Mm-hmm.
they transfer you, and that person they transfer you to knows all your info.
Mm-hmm.
What a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so it's just a rapport builder. So I'd even do callbacks. I call that callbacks in like TV
Mm-hmm.
shows where they make jokes from past episodes. But
Sure.
bring up the notes uh, from the previous call. Make light of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, now you're asking the questions, rapport is successfully transferred. And really, by the end of that call, which I would probably shoot for 20 minutes with 15 minutes of fun and rapport building, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a successful call,
Yeah.
okay? If you can just get that person to love you, all right? If you
Mm-hmm.
can just get that person to open their heart to you, you're
Mm-hmm.
now on their roster. And
Mm-hmm.
trust, it happens at Lead Mining every day. I get phone calls because I leave a great impression with our clients. I
Mm-hmm.
get phone calls and they go, Nick, I'm finally ready.
Mm-hmm.
So most of these leads in a reality
Mm-hmm.
aren't going to be ready at the same, like if there's like a readiness factor at the same exact moment that your phone call comes in. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
they're not like, wow, I just decided I wanted to sell it at a discounted rate this morning. You know what I mean? Right? you know
There's a lot of truth. There's a ton of truth in that. I mean, we'd love to. That would be a perfect world because we'd be batting 100% every time we called. You know,
right.
we we get 10 calls, we'd have 10 deals, we'd have a desk full of deals. That would be it.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. We would have generational wealth like it's nobody's business. And what I try to tell people is that that doesn't happen. You're not gonna. Well, not that does happen, but that's
Right.
literally like a 0.1 percentage chance someone
Right.
is super ready. So
Sure.
your goal is to start the relationship, make them love you, and you
Mm-hmm.
know what? Then find out. We'll add a step. Find out their temperature.
Yeah.
So, like on this call, you're going to assess the lead we send in, focus on your intro,
Mm-hmm.
focus on the relationship, treat it like it's a networking event. You're asking all about them, who they are, their interests, like you're on a first date and you actually
Yeah.
want them to like you,
Sure.
and get all the information, then focus on the property, and then find their timeline. Okay. This is actually great, Troy. I'm glad you asked me this. And the reason why these things are important is now that you know the timeline, that's like the most important thing. So I'll bring up restaurants probably one last time, probably not.
No,
Whenever
that's great.
you go into a restaurant, the hostess is there and they walk you to your table.
Mm-hmm.
I ran them for 16 years, so I know that that person is actually supposed to keep pace with you. Maybe walk slightly in front to lead and guide you, but keep pace. Whenever you look up and the hostess is gone, you're like, oh man, where'd she go? I don't know where my table is. The same thing happens with you. If you don't know the seller's timeline or
Yeah.
the pace at which they're walking to the table, their
Mm-hmm.
timeline at which they actually want to decide to do this,
Mm-hmm.
you don't know how to match their speed. You
Right.
know, you don't want to call up. A lot of people think that second call that I'm referring to right now is for an offer. It is not. It is
Mm-hmm.
not for an offer. I mean, it's for an offer if you just want to make offer all day and probably not buy any notes. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It's definitely good at getting you offer practice if that's your
Sure.
attitude.
Right.
But it's not necessarily going to get your overall goal, which is a great relationship, a property under contract, and then cash flow.